What's up guys, this is Mohammed, and these are my first impressions of the DJI Mavic Air 2. So these are my first impressions of the DJI Mavic Air 2 based on using it for about 2 to 3 weeks on 4 or 5 different gigs. My full review will be out later because I like to fully test the product I'm using and not rush the review. And that review will go into a lot more detail and will be a lot longer, so stay tuned for that. So the unboxing. Let's unbox this bad boy and see what you get in the box. All right, so here's the drone itself. There you go. And opens up like this. It's a nicely built drone. It feels nice in the hand. It feels much better than the original Air. Air had a bit of a plasticky feel. This does too, but I think it's like more premium looking, and it sits right in with the Mavic 2 Pro line of drones. So nice looking drone. Let's see what else you get in the box. Now here's the big one. Here's the brand new controller. Man, this feels really nice. I mean, this is so much better than the Mavic Air controller. All right, let's see what else comes in the box. There's no bag, by the way, no carrying case, no bag, nothing. The original Air had a bag. I wonder if this fits in my original Mavic Air bag. Let me get that. Okay, so this is the original Mavic Air bag. Let me close this down. Let's see. Not gonna work. Wow, I guess it really is that much bigger than the Mavic Air. I don't have the Mavic Air with me right now, so I can't do a side-by-side comparison of the size, but yeah, this is not gonna work. So I guess I need to buy a bag for this, huh? Okay. All right, so let me put these here. Let's see what else comes in the box. More paperwork. Okay, accessories. Cables, right? I guess additional joysticks. USB-C to USB-C cable. Charger. These are the propellers. A side and B side. Okay, you get seems like you get a spare for each side, and more cables. More cables. So that's all you get. You get the controller, the drone itself, propellers, charger, and extra set of joysticks in case you lose these ones. So let me just grab my original Mavic Air controller and let's do a comparison between those two. So the original Mavic Air controller and the Mavic Air 2 controller, side by side, the Mavic Air 2 is substantially bigger. But the one thing that this has that this doesn't is ease of use. I mean, look at this. You pop this open, you grab your phone, and you just put it in there. Bam, and the cable's right here. You take it out and you connect it. There you go. That took less than 5 seconds. Now, compare that to this. So first, you have to pull out the antennas, and I always get this confused, like, where do people actually put these? Like, do they put them straight up or like a 90-degree angle? I don't know. Anyway, you flap these things down, and here are the joysticks. You have to put them in. I mean, so far so good, right? But here is the part that is very time consuming and honestly frustrating. This is my phone, right? And it has a case on it. It won't fit. Like, I have to really push it in, and it doesn't fit, right? So first step, I have to take off the cover. Cover goes there. So that's another, additional time that you have to spend. And then, you hook the top of your phone to the right side and the bottom of your phone to the left side. And here's the cable. The cable is tucked in here, and I can never actually get this to like line up and go in the hole, right? Like, it's lined up now, but it doesn't go in. It's not like, this is not enough, right? So I need to remove this, push it down. All right, now I think it's in. And then finally, it's assembled. It's a hassle, right? And just having the phone or the screen you're gonna be looking at top is so much better than like the bottom of the controller, right? So huge plus for the Mavic Air 2 controller. Okay, let's get this bad boy charged up and ready to fly. But first impressions. First, the controller. I love this new controller. Yes, it's bigger, it's chunkier, it's heavier, but the grip feels much better in hand. And as I said in the unboxing part, the phone holder is much better, and it's just so much easier to use than the old Mavic Air controller. I don't mind having a heavier, chunkier controller if it's easier to use, especially that they have the tripod mode here now as a switch, so you don't have to go into the app, into the quick shot menu, and then choose it from there, and then when you want to come out of it, you have to cancel it. So it's much easier to just go from tripod to normal to sport mode right on the controller with just one easy switch. One small change that's actually a huge improvement is that the new joysticks on the new controller are a bit slimmer and a bit taller. This gives you way finer control on the drone. This sort of negates the problem I had with the previous controller, and actually this controller has it too, which is the joysticks fall into these 8 directions. So it's not a smooth like 360-degree movement. But now that these joysticks are taller, you do get finer control in the air. Now the body design itself. This is basically a mini Mavic 2 Pro. I love the new design. It's bigger than the Mavic Air, so it will be heavier to travel with, but it is so much better in high wind conditions. And believe me, Istanbul is a windy city. Just look at this clip. This is the Istanbul wind we're talking about. Can fly the drone by itself. Look at it. Oh my God. That's insane. One of the biggest improvements is the new battery. This is a much bigger battery than that of the Mavic Air, and you get about 34 minutes of airtime. And in my testing with the windy conditions of Istanbul, that's actually very true. I get about 31 to 32 minutes of flying time, which is huge because I used to get about 18 minutes on the original Mavic Air. So how about image quality? This is the only Mavic drone that is capable of capturing 4K at 60 frames per second. Not even the Mavic 2 Pro has that. We get a new sensor in here. This sensor is slightly bigger than that of the Mavic Air, and to my non-scientific eyes, the images are a bit cleaner and a bit crisper than the Mavic Air. I wouldn't say one full stop cleaner, no, that it's not that much bigger than the Mavic Air, but at least 1/3 of a stop cleaner. The shadows are not as noisy as they were in the Mavic Air. And this new sensor is actually a quad Bayer sensor instead of a regular Bayer pattern sensor. What that means is that instead of having the pixels, like the RGB pixels right next to each other, like RGB, there's 4 of them. So there's 4 reds, 4 greens, and 4 blues right next to each other. And ostensibly, that gives you 4 times the resolution of the normal resolution of the sensor. So this is a 12 megapixel sensor, but it can take 48 megapixel images. This is a technology that's been used in smartphones, and I'm so glad that it's coming to drones now. And as far as I know, the Mavic Air 2 is the only drone that can take 48 megapixel images. Now, the images are not as good as the ones coming from the Mavic 2 Pro because that's a 1-inch sensor, 1-inch 20 megapixel sensor. That's way bigger than this one here. But the images, the 48 megapixel images, are way better than just the normal 12 megapixels one. Now, by far, the biggest improvement with this drone is that it uses OccuSync 2 instead of Wi-Fi transmission on the Mavic Air. OccuSync 2 is so much better. The image transmission is so much clearer. It's in 1080p rather than 720p, and I've never had it lose connection. I've never had a drop connection. I've never had a drop frame rate or resolution. It's smooth, it's constant, and it's reliable. It dares you to go further. It dares you to go higher and get that shot. With the original Mavic Air, I always had this worry with me that it's gonna drop connection, it's gonna drop transmission. But with the Mavic Air 2 and OccuSync 2.0, it's empowering. It's reliable, and you dare to go higher and get that shot that you want to get. Now, I didn't mention this in my original Mavic Air review, but one quirk that I had with that drone was that I constantly had to calibrate its GPS. Like every time when I would turn it on, it would tell me to calibrate its GPS. Now, what that entailed was basically I had to take the drone like this, and I had to spin in 360 like in place, like do this, and then turn it sideways and then do it again. So this would calibrate its GPS. And I constantly did this. And once I was doing it on the side of a very small boat, and the clients were looking at me like, what is this guy doing? What is he spinning in place? So that's not the case with the Mavic Air. So I've never had to calibrate its GPS or anything. So overall, I love this drone. This drone is such a huge improvement over the Mavic Air. I mean, the image quality, the 4K 60, the OccuSync 2.0, the new controller, all of those are very, very good improvements. The only thing that's missing is 10-bit recording, and I think DJI is just reserving that for the Mavic 2 Pro. But if you don't need 10-bit, then this is the best drone that you can buy right now. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it and found it informative. Please keep an eye out for the Mavic Air 2 full review, which will be out in a few weeks. It will go into a lot more detail and cover everything there is about the Mavic Air 2. But please like this video, let us know what you think in the comments, subscribe to my channel, and go back and watch all my other videos. Till next time.